Hey, it's Heather from the Nature Center. Thank you again for joining us for the virtual Hummingbird Celebration, a partnership between Warner Park Nature Center, Friends of Warner Parks, and Metro Parks of Nashville-Davidson County. I am so excited to introduce my friend Rachel Anderson from Warner Park Nature Center. She's a naturalist and has been a bird enthusiast all her life. Right now, she's going to share a children's activity with you focusing on, guess what? Ruby-throated hummingbirds.
Welcome to Warner Park Nature Center. Do you see the feeders right behind me? And maybe see something buzzing around? These are for the ruby-throated hummingbirds that are coming through Middle Tennessee right now on their migration south. So I thought it'd be really cool to check out 5 fun facts about these amazing creatures, and you can join in with me while we explore that. So one thing I've noticed is that while all of these are ruby-throated hummingbirds, they look a little different from each other. Let's check out a couple of pictures and see if we can notice some things that are the same and some things that are different and figure out why.
Take a look at these 2 pictures. Both are ruby-throated hummingbirds. What do you notice about them that is the same? What's different? Yeah, so they both have a little bit of green on their heads and their sides, but one of them, the one on the right, has a white throat, and the one on the left has a red throat. So it's the female on the right with the white throat, and the male has the red throat, which can look dark when it's in the shade. Let's go back to our video and see if we can tell if this is a male or a female at the feeder. So I'm looking closely, and it looks like the throat is really dark. So he's in the shade, but this must be a male ruby-throated hummingbird.
So one thing I notice is that the hummingbirds fly so fast, I can't even see their wings beat. And it makes me wonder, how fast do they flap their wings? So I thought to try this little activity, we could do ours first. So why don't you stand up and get ready and put your arms out, and we're gonna see how fast we can flap our arms in 10 seconds. So I'm gonna put a counter on. All right, everybody up and ready to go. And when I say go, we're gonna flap our arms as fast as we can and count how many times you're flapping your arms in those 10 seconds. All right, here we go. Get ready, set, go. Whew. All right, did you count? All right, how many times were you able to flap your wings, your arms? Excellent. I got around 21 or 22 myself, right? So in 10 seconds, we can move our arms about 20 times up and down. A hummingbird in that same time can move their wings up and down, flapping so that they can fly. They can do that 500 times in just 10 seconds. That is really fast. Let's check out some video of some hummingbirds up close and see if you can see those wings moving. So now let's discover a little bit more about hummingbirds by looking at the nest that they create. I have a hummingbird nest right here. What do you notice about it? Do you see some eggs in here? How many do you see? What about the materials that the hummingbird used to make this nest. Let's get a little closer. What do those materials remind you of? Have you seen anything like this before? And this nest is very small. I'm going to show you how big it is by putting my finger very close to it. Right there, it's super tiny.
So maybe you noticed the thin strands that look like hairs around the outer edge, and all the pieces around it that look really soft. So the female hummingbird actually builds the nest all by herself, and she does collect anything soft like hair or downy thistle to build the nest, which I think is really cool. But the really cool thing is she binds it all together with spider webs. So fascinating.
So one thing I'm really curious about is how much does a hummingbird weigh? So I know from our research that we do here on campus that they weigh around 3 grams. But what does that look like? What does that feel like? Well, I've got a scale here and I thought we could try it out and see. So I've got a scale here and 3 items. I've got an eraser, a pen, and a penny. So what do you think these 3 will weigh? Which one do you think will be closest to the 3 grams we were talking about? Let's try it out. We'll start with the eraser. How many grams is that? Looks like 24, 25 grams. So that's too heavy. A hummingbird definitely does not weigh that much. Let's try the pen. Oh, we're getting closer. The pen looks like it weighs 6 to 7 grams. So a little bit closer to the weight of a hummingbird. Now let's try the penny. The penny weighs 3 grams. That is so cool. So the next time you hold a penny in your hand, that is about what a ruby-throated hummingbird weighs. What does that feel like to you? Feels pretty light to me. So there's one last thing that I'm curious about. Do hummingbirds make sounds? So let's head down here to these feeders and let's listen for a little bit and see if we can hear anything. So did you hear anything while you were down there? Yeah. What did it remind you of? To me, it reminded me of little squeaky toys. And they were so fast. It was like a fast little chittering sound, right? So that means that even if we can't see a hummingbird, we might actually hear one. So we definitely need to go outside and do some more listening. So we have discovered so much about these amazing birds today. Let's see, we learned that they can flap their wings up to 500 times in 10 seconds. We explored how much they weigh, and if you put a penny in your hand, that's about how much one of these hummingbirds weigh. We learned that the male and females are a little bit different. The males have that red throat and the females have the white throat. We also explored the nest that the female builds, and that she uses spider webs to help her build that nest. And then finally, we learned that they actually make sounds, and we can hear them when they're flying around. So I challenge you to go outside and take a closer look at these wonderful, amazing birds and see what else you can observe and discover. Thank you so much for joining me today.